So what if a baby's love for their mother is really nothing more than a calculated survival mechanism?
It really strips away all the poetry of infancy, doesn't it?
It really does. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are unpacking a stack of psychology notes to answer a pretty cold, hard question for you. We want to figure out, is the bond you had with your caregivers a learned transaction, or is it a biological reflex?
Right. We're basically tackling the ultimate nature versus nurture debate, but applied directly to human affection.
Exactly. And let's jump right into the most, I guess, mechanical explanation in our sources, which is learning theory.
Yeah, so learning theory argues that attachment is purely learned through classical and operant conditioning. Basically, that babies are trained to love.
Wait, so trained like Pavlov's dogs.
Pretty much. I mean, the logic here is brutally transactional. It starts with a primary negative drive, which is hunger.
Okay, so a baby feels hunger, which is physically unpleasant, so they cry.
Right, and then the caregiver feeds the baby, which removes that negative feeling. So that removal of pain is operant conditioning in action.
Ah, I see. So behavior being shaped by a reward.
Exactly. And then classical conditioning is where the association comes in. The baby pairs the relief of food with the person providing it.
So the food is what causes the pleasure automatically, and the caregiver just kind of starts as a neutral presence.
Right, but you pair them with food enough times, and they become what we call a secondary reinforcer. The caregiver alone starts triggering that feeling of pleasure.
Okay, so this theory literally treats the people raising you like comforting vending machines. You know, you press cry, you get milk, so you love the machine.
It is a super bleak way to look at it, but yeah. Learning theory reduces infancy to a purely transactional state based on calories.
I mean, that feels way too simplistic for how complex relationships actually work.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if love is really just a calorie transaction, then why do babies who are perfectly full still cry just to be held? A vending machine doesn't give you a hug when you're scared.
And your skepticism there is exactly what fractured learning theory back in the 1950s. To understand why, we have to look at Harry Harlow's famous monkey experiment.
Oh, right, the surrogate mothers.
Yeah, he gave infant monkeys two artificial surrogate mothers. One was made of cold, hard wire, but had a bottle attached to dispense food.
And the other was covered in soft, warm cloth, but provided absolutely 0 calories, right?
Exactly. Now, if the vending machine theory holds up, those monkeys should never leave the wire mother.
But they totally rejected the wire mother, didn't they?
They did. They clung to the soft cloth surrogate for hours on end and only darted over to the wire one when they were absolutely starving.
Wow, so it proved definitively that attachment is driven by contact comfort.
Yes, the physical need for safety and softness completely overrides the need for food.
But Wade Harlow's monkeys only prove that comfort matters. It doesn't explain why a monkey, or a human, even knows to seek out that comfort in the first place.
Right, which brings us to Konrad Lorenz and his geese. He proved we don't learn to seek comfort, but rather we are born with a biological timer ticking down to find it.
Oh, the imprinting thing, where newly hatched chicks will imprint on the very first moving object they see.
Exactly, usually the mother. But this only happens during a rigid, critical period of just a few hours. If they miss that window, the bond never forms.
So it's an evolutionary reflex. You hatch, the timer starts, and you attach to survive.
Yes, and that survival reflex heavily influenced psychologist John Bowlby. He translated this to humans with his monotropic theory.
Mono meaning one, so he argued babies are hardwired by evolution to seek out one primary, ultimate protector.
You got it. And the sources mention babies use social releasers to do this. You know, things like crying, smiling, even just having big, cute eyes.
So they deploy these behaviors to essentially hack the adult's brain and trigger a caregiving instinct.
They're pure survival tactics. Bowlby argued humans have a critical period for this, up to about 2.5 years.
And the payoff is what he called the continuity hypothesis, right?
Yes, the mechanism here is profound. That early bond physically wires the brain's expectations for trust and safety, creating a lifelong template.
Okay, so Bowlby calls this an internal working model. So this early attachment is essentially the base operating system for every future relationship we will ever have.
Exactly. I mean, think about how you react today when someone leaves you on read for 3 hours.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Your internal working model is what decides if you feel mild annoyance or total panic. If your first caregiver was inconsistent, your operating system assumes every future partner will be inconsistent too.
Oh, wow. So we've really gone from looking at babies as hungry little Pavlovian learners plugging coins into a vending machine to recognizing that we are all born with a deeply ingrained evolutionary blueprint for connection.
It really reframes human affection entirely. We aren't just learning to love, we are biologically engineered to need it.
Which leaves you with something to really chew on today. If our internal blueprint for connection is finalized before we even turn 3 years old, how much of your adult relationship drama is actually just your toddler self desperately trying to communicate through that old code?